y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. Today, this is Diagnosing and Dismantling Society, and today we're going to focus on borderline personality disorder. I've given this disclaimer in the other videos I've made. This is not my intention to make anyone feel bad about mental illness. What I am doing is just trying to use what the system has created to individualize our own ways of being that are quite normal in a capitalist society and push it back on the system. If you'd like to see more of that, I have talked more about that in the other videos. We started with schizophrenia, we did OCD, bipolar, depression, and today we're going to do this borderline personality disorder. I see a lot of people, young people, very young people, on TikTok in particular, who have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and who have these experiences called splits, where their personality splits, and I want to talk about that. Again, if you have been no, not right now. No, yes, no. Sure, you can turn that off. Whatever, I can still talk. If you have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder or any of the other ones I've already mentioned, my pen keeps running out of ink. Give me some time, please. I haven't been doing this all day. Okay, I just looked up when it was added to the DSM. Niall. And it was added in 1980, which I find very fascinating because, of course, that's the year that Reagan instituted. Reagan was really working at like this. If you are unfamiliar, the 80s were like prime human. This is what Reagan and Margaret Thatcher started working very heavily on in the 80s with neoliberalism, with the introduction of neoliberalism, which I'm watching Mr. Deeds, which took this idea of individuality and kind of put it on a conveyor belt, essentially. As you can see, what we're experiencing now is that everyone is literally buying the same shit, making commercials for the same shit on their social medias. Like, so there's this idea of individuality. Like I said, the 80s were high point of individuality in regards of fashion, self-expression, all of that. And so neoliberalism was introduced to kind of funnel people into this more common existence, more easily controlled. Please don't. Not right now. I'm doing something, Niall. I'm really not trying to be irritated with you, but you're being very disrespectful. I haven't made any videos today. I'm trying to get this done, okay? If you could give me space, I would appreciate it. I'm so fucking sick of doing this shit by my goddamn self. Especially when his dad is like, why can't you do it? About some shit that he should have taken care of fucking 6 months ago. Anyway, I guess I'm having a borderline personality disorder split. No, it's normal to feel frustrated when people are disrespectful. Alright, a mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. Again, when we talk about these things, the way we talk about the language and how they put these ideas together is so broad that it's, again, like this neoliberal thought. Like, it's a bag that can just be, it's a black bag that can just be put over anyone's head, right? Unstable moods, unstable behaviors, unstable relationships. Introducing capitalism. When was the last time that you felt like your mood, behavior, and relationships were stable in this capitalist society? Like, just as a whole. Like, when did you wake up excited with a happy mood? You know, when did your relationship not suffer from any of the, you know, stressors of capitalism, right? When did you guys have an argument about an electric bill or a credit card bill or any other kind of bill? Right? When did you wake up feeling sad about having to go to school or work, right? That's normal human behavior because we're supposed to be motherfucking free, okay? We're not supposed to be put into these boxes. So already I'm calling bullshit. Alright? That's not to say that we don't experience this, but that my point to this project is we don't need to name it. What we need to name is that capitalism is the problem, okay? Obviously. I think what's interesting is that every single one of these we've covered, the cause of borderline personality disorder isn't well understood. None of them are, because the cause is is capitalism. So you're individualizing responses, very real human natural responses to a system that is not only killing the planet, but killing all of us as well. Some faster than others, and expecting people to just be okay with that, that's what's fucking crazy, okay? You're not fucking crazy. You're coping with patriarch and banking and the need to collect fake pieces of paper and cloth with ugly slave-owning rapists' faces on it. Money, okay? Fucking hate it here. This planet is so dumb. Okay. Symptoms include emotional instability, feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, impulsivity, and impaired social relationship. Your relationships are impaired because they've moved everything from a physical to parasocial relationships on our phones. We text. Things can be miscommunicated and misunderstood in text. We are not robots. They are conditioning us to believe that this is the way life should be, when in all reality, this shit didn't exist like 25 years ago. I was alive for it. The 90s were fabulous, okay? We didn't have this shit. Also, when you have to, I'm not saying you, when the powers that be have to revise the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, let's break the word disorder down, okay? A disorder. So we have a capitalist system that thrives and needs us to all fall in line. If you guys haven't listened to Pink Floyd's The Machine, I highly recommend. That will give you kind of an understanding about how this works. Also, go ahead and throw in another brick in the wall for the school to prison pipeline. Alright. That's some shit from like the 70s, right? I think that's when Pink Floyd was big. But that's some like real shit. It's only gotten worse. I know this might be hard to grasp, especially for folks who are Gen Z, and my analytics are back to every age bracket, so I'm grateful. Hello to the younger folks out there who you guys already know. And I think the thing about this is like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, you guys know how fucking shitty this shit is. That's why you're balls to the walls like fuck this, because what did we leave you? A fucking book this thick with a bunch of mental disorders that we're gonna put you in categories for and medicate the fuck out of you and throw you on this conveyor belt and make you do shit you don't want to do for the next 50, 60 years, if you make it that long. No. And I think as a millennial, the drastic change from our upbringing to this upbringing, what you guys are experiencing, is fascinating. Because when we were growing up, people still respected boomers, and now there's nothing there. Boomers are the only ones that respect boomers. And so it's just a fascinating thing because they still have so much power and control, because those of us, I would say I don't think Gen X necessarily respects boomers, but I think they are just a little bit more, I don't know what went wrong. I mean, they raised some cool kids, so I think Gen X as a generation just kind of like did that Bart Simpson meme where he like pulls himself into the bush and he's like, I'm just gonna disappear. And then they raised little Hellraisers. Right on. if you're having any of these feelings and you have been diagnosed with this shit, I'm here to tell you that you're not fucking crazy. There's nothing fucking wrong with you. This system just needs people to work, and they've created mental illness as the most solid form of social control. I do want to note, if you'd like a timeline that dates back to like 400 BC, and I mapped out some big moments within social movements in history. The first like mental institution, I think, was what, 1247 or something, and it was in Europe, UK. Bedlam is what it was called. Anyway, I have this giant ass timeline. I haven't there are lots of social movements and lots of oppressed groups missing, marginalized groups missing from this timeline. My overview was very much about black folks in America when I put this together. I was in Skid Row, and that's predominantly the population of Skid Row, so that's what I focused on. If you go to my TikTok, it is Ascending with Ashley. No, it's just Ascending Ashley, sorry. Okay, timeline of historical mental health practices and beliefs. This is a non-conclusive historical citing, blah, 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 blah. We don't care. 400 BC, the Greek physician Hippocrates, what's his name? Hippocrates? Treats mental disorders as diseases to be understood in terms of disturbed sociology, rather than reflections of the displeasure of the gods. And so that's the thing. They colonized spirituality back in 400 BC. 1247, I was correct. Bethlehem Hospital, more frequently known as Bedlam, opens in London to house distraught and lunatic people. So anyway, I have this massive ass timeline in my TikTok. It is pinned if you'd like to look through it. How much longer is it? It's like a really long timeline. Is there for you. I only went to the first Trump go around. I think I stopped at 2016 because that's when I stopped my master's work. Obviously a lot has happened since then, and I think in hindsight too, knowing the things we know, I think I would add some Israel stuff, more stuff about Nazis, but I'm not getting a PhD, so I'm not going to do that. I could, but I don't feel like it. I'm tired. The cause of borderline personality disorder is not... Okay, so treatments include talk therapy, in some cases medications, hospitalizations, help if symptoms are severe. So by symptoms, they mean resistance. And I think that's the interesting thing that we should really focus on and continue to reframe when presented with things like this. And remember that, like, NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is ultimately a lobby. They lobby the government, and they work for Big Pharma. Big Pharma, I think this is all in the timeline. But I think they are actually in... When I say they, I'm talking about the powers that be. So go check out that timeline if you want. Again, my TikTok is just Ascending Ashley. I had a TikTok with the Ascending with Ashley, so that's there too, but I don't have access to that one anymore because TikTok will only let you follow 10,000 people, and I didn't know that. So I had to create a second account, and I'm almost at following 10,000. That's another thing that the powers that be do to limit our ability to organize amongst each other. But anyway, there's nothing wrong with you. Borderline personality disorder, even in its... Oh, what are we talking about? Disorder. So, like, there's a certain order that needs to be followed for this society to work. So when you're not participating, or when you're a little too fruity, or a little too ADD, or a little too imaginative, you have a disorder because you are making a disorder for the system. Again, go check... Was that a Nazi salute? That wasn't... What are you doing? Go check out the Pink Floyd video or song, Welcome to the Machine. Do it high. It'll, like, cause your kundalini energy to elevate. So this is what it looks like on my page, on my on my TikTok. It's this one right here. Alright? There's nothing fucking wrong with you. This shit is so what's the word? I think arbitrary is the correct term. Let me look that up and make sure I'm correct. We are arbitrary based on random choice or personal whim rather than any reason or system. 100. Because when they put this shit together, it was just a bunch of people in power, mostly Nazis, because this was after World War II. It was in the late 1940s and early 1950s. The first DSM was published in 1952, so that worked. So you have the Declaration of Human Rights being signed in 1948. You have Israel claiming its stake on Palestine in 1948. You have the end of World War II, 1946 maybe? When was World War II over? 1945. So all that to say is then you have all of the sudden a lot of Nazis had to relocate. They've relocated to the United States. They got hired at NASA and other fucking really high ranked positions. They're still alive. That's why we're in this situation again. Right here back for World War III. The whole point of this is to liberate your mind. I think that's another thing throughout history. Everyone has said, liberate your mind, free your mind, free your mind, but there's never been a map to do so or the breakdown. So that's what I've really focused my life on, because I think that we need a how-to. And how to do that is not to believe what other people say about you just because you don't fit into their motherfucking box. You're not meant to fit into a fucking box. You are a full-blown human having a spiritual... No, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You're not supposed to fit in those boxes. You're not fucking crazy. Your borderline personality disorder is what makes you you. Those are the unique parts about you. Your relationships suck, your behavior sucks, and your fucking mood sucks because you have to go to work. That's it, that's all. Have a good one.